Oh, yeah. Good. All right.
I used to think golf was just a game. But somewhere along the way, it became more. Golf is a reflection of my entire life. Embracing its constant challenges fuels my ambition and growth. I want to get better, not just as a golfer, but as a friend, a father, and a husband. GolfForever has been there every step of the way. In the moments I make for myself, I find exactly what I need. With each swing, every move, I get closer to the golfer I've always wanted to be. And more importantly, the person I want to become.
How's everybody doing? Good. I've been looking at the back of your heads for the better part of the day, so it's nice to see some faces. Thank you for having me here today. I really appreciate you guys and the opportunity to come talk about GolfForever. So, just looking at that video and kind of thinking about what the game of golf is, a couple words come to mind: attributes, dedication, grit, health, discipline, integrity. These are things that I believe you all teach every single day. And the game of golf, in my opinion, is the most parallel game to life. And so I believe when you guys are out there teaching golf, you're really teaching people to build skills that are going to be transferable in the game of life. And because of that, GolfForever is really focused on making sure that we don't have next slide. Okay. Not sure what's going on there, so sorry. What I believe about, GolfForever, what we're trying to do is get people in the game to play better golf for longer. And I read an interesting statistic this morning. I'm just going to pull it up real quick. This is relatable to what I was just talking about. So there was a study done that found that the death rate for golfers was 40% lower, corresponding to a 5-year increase in life expectancy. This is based on 300,000 golfers, mostly walkers. Benefits were seen across all age groups. The lowest rate of death was observed among the players with the lowest handicap. So it just really got me thinking about, as we continue to work with players and make them better at golf and get them to develop the game, we really are improving their lives and extending their life. And so I'm really excited to be with you guys today to talk about that. So we're going to talk a little bit about the history of GolfForever. Sure. We're going to talk about what GolfForever is. We are going to go through some different products and solutions that GolfForever offers, and then we're going to spend probably the majority of the time talking about GolfForever Coaching Connect, which is a coaching platform that we have. And so I want to go into the history a little bit. Pictured here is Dr. Jeremy James and Justin Leonard. Justin's been involved really from the beginning. Him and Dr. Jeremy have known each other for some period of time. So in 2019, Dr. Jeremy created GolfForever. So he was managing essentially a pain clinic, Back Institute in Aspen, and he had a lot of golfers that were coming through that had back pain, mobility issues, wanted to get out and play better golf, but their bodies were really limiting them to what they were able to do. So he started working on some programming. I joke a lot that oftentimes a chiropractor, the typical rhythm is adjust, let's set your next appointment, let's come back, I'll see you in 2 weeks, and rinse and repeat. What Dr. Jeremy was really focused on was making sure that he could create a solution and that he could really fix the issues that people were having with their bodies to alleviate their pain and increase their golf performance. So it drove him to develop a training and recovery program for all golfers, which was kind of just a fraction of clinic costs that they were paying. So let's talk a little bit about what GolfForever is. I shook a lot of hands this morning. You guys were coming in through registration. Some knew what GolfForever was, some did not. It was pretty eye-opening to me just to kind of understand and gauge the audience on the level of understanding around what we were doing. So I'm going to go through this part because I think it's important. There's a lot of people in here that just don't know what GolfForever is and what we do. So GolfForever is a personalized at-home training program. There's a couple different pieces. So for the individual, an individual goes through an assessment, a questionnaire, to understand what their typical habits are, what their abilities are, what their goals are, and what they're trying to accomplish in a fitness product or in a golf performance product. So backed by some coaching tools, we've got about over 500 tour pros across all different tours that are using GolfForever. I've got about 130 plus college programs that are using GolfForever in their training. And essentially, what it really boils down to is, on the coach side of it, we're really focused on giving you a body that you can coach. And so, listening to some of the other presentations today, it's very apparent that there is a problem with how people are moving. And it really hinders how they're able to progress, how you're able to coach them. And what we want to do is be that solution that can assist you while you're focused on the technical aspects of the golf swing. We really want to partner with golf coaches to help them understand more about the body and be that partner in helping the body move better. Because we believe that every golfer deserves to play the best golf for a lifetime. And so what we're committed to doing is providing education, tools that the golfers can use, tools that instructors can use, and really combine those efforts and bridge the gap between what the individuals are doing and how that translates to the lesson team. So I want to talk about some products and solutions. When you came through today, you saw this warm-up station that was out front. So like I mentioned earlier, the app or the personalized program is delivered through an app. So we've got a library of over 1,500 drills, exercises, workouts that live within the GolfForever app. So like I mentioned, when an individual comes through and they go through the assessment and they're answering questions about their typical habits and what their goals are and what they're trying to accomplish, what that is then going to do is it's going to create a personalized program for them. So not everybody starts off at the same place. Based on the answers, based on what is important to that person and what they're trying to accomplish, the app is going to start with a foundation, and then it's going to progress from there. So there's different levels of exercises, different levels of drills, and golf performance exercises as well. The swing trainer, let me unhook it here. So the swing trainer has a ball. It sits on the top of it. There's a couple ones. The gray one is a D3 swing weight, a little bit heavier. But the swing trainer is the tool. The tool that pairs with the app. Not every exercise and every workout and movement includes the swing trainer. There are some things that live within the app from a stretching perspective or yoga, for example, that don't necessarily include the swing trainer itself. But the swing trainer is a really good tool to pair with it. Asymmetrical bar training is not a new concept, but the way that it was designed at GolfForever creates the application that really translates to the golf swing, and particularly as it relates to body movement. And the warm-up station. So we'll talk a little bit about how we bring this to life in a facility, and the warm-up station is one of those ways. So we've got a lot of clubs and facilities, indoor, outdoor, academies, that are using these warm-up stations. As you saw, I wheeled it in here, so it's mobile. You're able to move it around the driving range or to a teaching bay, and it's a really good way to anchor in the swing trainer. So it's got about an 80-pound base to it. You could technically, anchor a couple different swing trainers on it at the same time. It's got really good base to it. At the top of this, which I have an iPad on here today. I did have a warm-up graphic that was on the table at the front when you guys walked in, but There's a couple different ways that clubs and facilities and pros are using this, which is you can have the iPad here or a tablet, and you can go straight into the app where you can access drills and exercises. And the primary function, out on a lesson tee is really to get people's bodies activated and warmed up properly. I think the running joke out there with people, getting loose before they play is, give me 6 holes and I'll be loose, and ready to go. But what we're really trying to do is help people move their bodies better before they get started. So last year we did a study, small sample size, but we took 2 groups. And we had one group go through, they showed up, they did their normal warm-up, which is static stretching, not a whole lot of activation. And then we had them hit 5 drivers. And then we had them go through an 8-minute GolfForever warm-up. And there was an immediate increase in distance on average of about 15 yards. So distance isn't the only thing that people are chasing, but it is one of the things that's important. And so what we also did was we took another group and we had them go through the GolfForever program for a 30-day period. They were doing 3 workouts a day, typically between 25 and 40 minutes they would go through. And we saw that distance increase from 15 yards to 25 yards. And so now we're getting into the application I think that's most applicable to you all, which is while somebody is going through the programming that's designed for them, now they're really starting to change their motor patterns. They're starting to develop strength, they're starting to develop more mobility and flexibility, and they're really working on their balance and how they're interacting with the ground. So as a result of that, in that 30-day study, of course they're more mobile and they're more flexible, but they're also changing those movement patterns, and really those extra yards are just related to more center face contact and just a more consistent strike in the center of club face. Then we're going to look at certification and Coach Connect. So we'll get into that a little bit more here in a minute. So the GolfForever app, like I mentioned, it is the engine to the GolfForever training system. There's an app has a proprietary assessment, the key training equipment. So I will show you the additional training equipment in a second. You saw it displayed this morning. PGA Tour doctors and trainers have really been the backbone of how this has been developed. So Dr. Jeremy is fortunate to partner with some folks that have really helped develop the programming and create a solution that is having a lot of success for golfers in their movement. So what to expect within the app? So within the app, like I mentioned, there's a personalized program for each golfer. There are instructional videos that are delivered daily. So the visual that you're looking at right here, this is the home screen on the consumer app. And every day you can pull that up. You've got today's workout, and today's workout is the next step in your journey, in your golf development, and your movement development. And then you've got a library. So in the library, you can go into different exercises around strength. You can do mobility exercises. You can look at yoga. You can look at there's a host of different pain management and relief and recovery and those types of exercises as well. So routines for pre-warm-up, stretching, pain relief, strength, and rotational power. And then we're also tracking from a gamification standpoint a little bit. We've got GolfForever app 2.0 coming out in the first quarter of next year, which will really up the game as it relates to that. Leaderboards showing people's progress, being able to connect with folks that are also using this so that you can look at that as well. So the swing trainer, I just want to talk a little bit about what is included in this package. So like I had displayed out there today, you've got the swing trainer itself, and then you've got a couple different handles that can be used, doing some different drills with the anchor points. The 2 weighted balls, which I mentioned, and then different levels of resistance bands. So you've got a medium and a light. We do have a heavy resistance band, not included in this particular package, but we do have some folks that want a little bit more resistance, and they're able to get that with that band. As well as the carabiner clips, which obviously we're using to anchor in. And then the last piece, a little hard to see, what this piece of material is, but it's actually a door anchor. So it's got a little ball in there. You can actually put it in the corner of a door hinge. You can close your door, so think about a hotel room or somewhere where you don't have access to clip a carabiner clip on. You can slide that in there and have an anchor point as well. The GolfForever warm-up station. So talked about this a little bit, but like I mentioned, daily usage. During lessons and during fittings, we have a lot of clubs and facilities, like I said, that use it on the driving range. The fitness training sessions as well. I was actually talking to Mike here at the club earlier about all the things that they're doing for the members around movement and stretching and those types of things. So we have a lot of clubs that are facilitating different assessment type activities and events for members when they're coming in and taking them through some of the different protocols. So this is where I'm going to spend the majority of the time, GolfForever Coach Connect. So primarily when we started, we were focused mostly on the consumer, on the individual golfer. And what we learned very quickly is there's a really big opportunity for us to work directly with instructors and help give you all an opportunity to pair a solution with your technical knowledge. So what we have done in that is created Coach Connect, which is a coaching platform. So I just got a couple questions, and if you wouldn't mind participating, have you guys ever worked with a golfer that has back or joint pain that's interfered with their golf? What about a golfer whose swing could be better if they had mobility and flexibility to get in the right positions? So I think it's a pretty overwhelming yes with those questions, and so that's really what we're here for. We recognize that there are a lot of scenarios where folks are trying to do what you're telling them to do, but their body physically cannot do it. And so that's where we really want to step in, and we want to be a solution that can help solve those problems. And I think we talked about that a lot in some of the presentations today. Now, Chuck, I'm not sure that we can fix the neck pain issue that you were describing earlier, but we may have to come up with some different protocols there. So, GolfForever Coach Connect, what it is, it's an exercise and movement virtual teaching assistant. So, the way that Coach Connect works is there is a movement assessment. Essentially, you bring a student into the platform and you take them through a movement assessment in 5 to 10 minutes. What Coach Connect does is it helps you prescribe where the limits and deficiencies are with your golfers. And then from there, we can help the golfers improve their mobility, their strength, and their balance to really accelerate their improvement. GolfForever certification. GolfForever certification unlocks Coach Connect. So we certainly don't want to give a tool without any information. And so what we've done is we've created a certification program where it gives you enough knowledge about the body and the movement and the biomechanics of that, but doesn't require you to be an expert. So what we have are the tools in the library and the resources to be able to support what you need to develop your golfers' bodies and their physical. But it won't require you to have the knowledge or to prescribe them necessarily a specific movement or drill that's going to help. Now, you certainly can, but we see this as a really strong complement or accelerant to what you're already doing currently. So it's a 3-hour course. It's online, and really it's centered around the fundamental knowledge of the human body and how key physical limitations can affect the golf swing. And like I said, this expertise, gives you the ability to conduct a 5-minute assessment that's really going to help you leverage Coach Connect in your teaching. So the 5-minute assessment. Does anybody want to volunteer to go through it? Or are you going to make a picture about it? Anybody? One person? No? You want to go through it? Okay. So we're looking at 5 different things when we're talking about the assessment. We're looking at hip mobility, hip hinge, trunk rotation, and a couple different balance points. So if I could, I'm sorry, what's your name? Lee. We met her earlier. Thanks for coming up. So Lee, what we're going to do is we are going to, I want you to hold onto this pole here. We're going to raise one leg, and then we're going to rotate out, and then we're going to do it to the other side as well. So we're looking at positions of 9 o'clock and 4 o'clock. You can do the other leg. All right, thank you. And so as you're going through the mobility, what we're doing is we're essentially grading on a pass or a needs improvement scale. And so I would say that in that scenario, pass, I would say that mobility from a 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And then, so what we're doing, I'll go through some of these other ones, but we're also looking at hip hinge. So similar to, I can't remember who did this earlier, but looking at how the body is able to hinge, so are we keeping those connection points as we're hinging the hips, and we're grading that on a pass-fail scale. We're also looking at trunk rotation, so 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, so how are we able to rotate? And then we're looking at balance A, which balance A is simply balancing on one leg for about 15 seconds, and then switching legs and doing the other side for about 15 seconds. And then we're also doing the same thing, but we're inserting a head rotation into that, seeing how we can keep our balance there. And so what we're really doing is we're just trying to figure out how the body is moving and what those limitations are. So after going through the assessment, you're going to get a synopsis of that, and it's going to show you where that student passed and where that student has room to improve. Based off of that assessment, then moving into a lesson, there's an opportunity for you to select what you are going to be working with that student on. And after you've selected what you're going to be working with that student on, the app recognizes the assessment results and what you're going to work with the student on, and it digs into our library and it pulls out lesson start drills and in-lesson drills that you can use and apply with that student right there and right now. So essentially the tool is used to be able to really use, really apply what you've learned about that student and really increase their mobility. So I'll just give you an example for myself. So there are things that I have learned through using GolfForever, being that I had some issues with my right hip and my mobility in my right hip. So as I started using GolfForever, and I was working through some of the exercises, and I was really starting to feel the rotation and getting into my hip better, I started experiencing a little bit of discomfort. I was activating muscles that I had never really activated before. And so as I continued to go through that, that discomfort went away and the mobility in my hip has increased over time. And as well as that, there are different opportunities for you to reinforce. I know we were talking about takeaway earlier. There are some different little drills that we can do to use the band and use the resistance to show. Oh, sorry, I'm going to get more attention. That we can show, a proper takeaway movement. I think we were talking about rotation earlier of those arms in the takeaway. So how can we create some resistance to actually keep those hands inside and that club outside? As we're working with the swing trainer and against that resistance. So another part of this that's really important is training both sides. So the asymmetrical nature of it. The golf swing, we're swinging from one side, and so it's very dominant on that side, which is causing us to maybe have some weaker or less developed muscles and movement on the other side of our body, so being able to look at it from both sides as well. Another example or application that nobody ever really taught me how to use the ground when I was starting to play golf. And so I think can be a very difficult thing to teach. But I think what we can learn the most in GolfForever with this particularly is looking at working against the resistance. And so I'll just kind of do a little move here to show you, as we're going through, as we're going into loading, and we're getting into this position here, I'm really feeling how I'm pushing into my lead side to load into my trail hip, and something that I've never felt before. And so, working with the program has really helped me be able to do that and recreate those feelings, which really translate to how you're moving in the golf swing. So I just want to open it up for any questions, and I know there have been some questions with me around specific movements or how the application can work in the environment, and just want to open it up if there's any questions for you guys.
So who has the app? You as the coach, or does your student have a copy of the app themselves as well? And if you are, if the coach is the one that has all the data, is it uploaded to a file somewhere where they can get to it? How does all that stuff work?
Yeah.
Who's the host of the data?
Yeah, so it lives in both, actually. So the student can, within the app themselves, they can receive, so you can send them workouts, you can send them drills from the Coach Connect platform within the app that's going to feed to their individual app piece. And then you have a catalog of the drills and exercises that you've sent. You can track and see if they've completed certain workouts on your side of it as well. So both. Sorry? That may be a little more technical question than I have an answer for that. I'm just being honest. Yeah.
It's just inside.
Yeah, I'm not really sure the answer to that question. Yes, sir?
How long would a coaching session be? 30 minutes? Or?
So it just depends. I mean, honestly, it's not really taking away from the coaching session itself. So the idea behind it is, after you go through that assessment, it should take about 5 minutes. Now you've got an understanding of where some deficiencies may lie with that golfer. And so as you go into your lesson and you're working with them, you can start your lesson with some of those warm-up drills so that you can use those to address immediately some of those limitations they might have. But then as you go into your lesson, you can reinforce with some in-lesson drills that also have been pulled to that platform, and you can integrate those in. So it's not really changing the time of your lesson, it's just a matter of, as you go through that lesson, knowing some of the limitations that those individuals have, how do you then integrate some different movements into that lesson?
So just to clarify that, this becomes an add-on into your lesson?
You could look at it that way, in terms of time, is that what you mean?
Yeah, that, or just it's an added feature of using as an instructor.
For sure. And so, it's, the way that I look at it is, you have the technical knowledge as the instructor, right? But we are looking at and helping assist in the body portion of that. So if you have a student that's not moving the way that you want them to move, or they can't get into a position that you're trying to get them in, you can lean on GolfForever as a resource to be able to help improve those students' limitations. So, yeah, I would say it's more of a complement to the coaching, to the technical aspects of the coaching.
The app and the device together, or you have to apply them separate? The second question would be how much is it?
Yeah, so the certification and the app, the certification and the swing trainer all come together. So the certification costs $399, and included in that is the swing training, 1 year of the individual app subscription, 1 year of the coaching platform subscription, 3 PDR credits, and then we're always hosting some different ongoing education and learning webinars as well. Yes, ma'am.
Just to help y'all, we were one of the first to bring the GolfForever before you guys had the warm-up station. So we actually have it in our warm-up area. You walk into the performance center, and then we have it in the bay, and then we put it in our fitness center. So at that time, I mean, our members use it all the time. In fact, that cord is so strong that it broke. They were using it so much. And I'm not saying that it broke because it's a bad product, but that's how much they use it. And then if they wanted to be app or use more with it, then we just kind of lead them. But it's great. Like I like having them in the bay. They come in and say, "Gosh, you didn't have time to warm up." I said, "Let's use this." But just that we had the warm up station. Some of you might be thinking, and I don't work for GolfForever. I just really like it. But the warm up station might deter you because you're like, "Where are you going to put this?" And so we had it in there, but we removed it because we did a lot better where we put 3 rings on the wall so that they could do the adjustments, and so it just hangs on the wall, and then it becomes permanent. So I think a lot of times it is a great tool, even if you don't take it, that far. Our members love it; they use it all the time.
Yeah, and we actually have, to your point, we have wall anchors as well that you can install in the wall. You can use, an eye hook as well. That's what I have at my house. Before we came out with the wall anchors, I already had those installed. So that's what I use. And then you can actually use it on a golf cart also. So I mean, you can actually, wrap this around the frame of a golf cart and just anchor it that way as well. So it's pretty versatile.
And I think most collegiate programs, you guys really went into that market, and they use it a lot. There's a lot of them in their facilities. So
Yeah, we've got north of 130 programs right now. Any other questions? Well, thank you all. I really appreciate it.